And we're on the regular channel, not on my channel. So I would say same bat time, same bat channel, but the time is incorrect. But we're back on the regular channel. So hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night. I am your host, Channel Dad Brian Lee. This is NPR Radio. Are you done there, Tommy?
That ain't Tommy. That's Wayne.
That was Wayne.
Wayne's got a squeaky chair.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, that was my stupid chair. Sorry.
Char. Yeah, WD-40 that thing up real good. All right. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, Wayne. And when I was younger, I said that I did it again. I was growing up in East Tennessee, so if the hillbilly comes out, that's I'll take my shoes off and make it real.
Yeah.
Actually, I got my shoes off. Let's just take my socks off. All right. So joining me tonight in the upper right-hand corner, Appalachian America.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing?
Wow. What is that noise? Joining us tonight is a man that the Appalachian American claims is a friend, but well, we'll see. Mr. Wayne. Oh, wait. I almost said Bruce Wayne again.
Yep. It's funny when I get pulled over, cops are like, "No, are you serious?" Like, no. Yeah, that's
Bruce. Well, you just tell them that you're Scottish, right? Right? Earl of Bruce wasn't he a Scottish lord? Something like that. I don't know. And also joining us tonight, Tommy Gunn, who has nothing to say. So is everybody enjoying their Friday so far? I know we're about a half an hour behind, but I'm kind of upset that the Appalachian American doesn't have any of that moonshine to pass around. It's kind of on his t-shirt.
Oh.
I'm supposed to be going in September.
Yeah. Now, you guys get diluted liquors in your grocery store like we do?
No.
You get like half strength stuff. Now you have to go to a state liquor store to get the real stuff, and so they have the Old Smoky or whatever, the one that you're wearing. They have that and something else available here in the grocery store. But if you go to the real liquor store, you can get the stronger. So it's only 20 proof, I think, in the grocery store, and 40 or more when you get the real stuff. And it's a lot more expensive than if you were in Tennessee.
So though, Tennessee will get sent. I go home. I come home pretty broke.
Yeah.
What
I remember, granted, I haven't lived there in 20 some odd years. Certain beers, that was just the beginning of where them getting craft beer in. Basically the state was divided up into 3 or 4 distributors, and thanks to a former governor and his buddies, McWhorter, I think, is who did that. They'd realized, hey, there's money to be made. And so certain beers it was very strange because some beers would be $2 or $3 more than they should have been. And then other beers were priced just right. So Sam Adams is always like $2 more than it should have been. But then you'd get Sierra Nevada or something, and it would be what it should be considering it's going 2/3 of the way across the country, So anyway, I'm a beer snob, Wayne. So
he's a purist.
Yeah.
I just like to drink Coors Light. He's all like high and mighty.
Yeah.
Light.
Yeah, I see that. That's what you have to rinse out your glass between beers.
Wow.
Whatever. I'm not as cultured as you are, so I guess it's whatever.
I don't think I'm cultured. In fact, I think I'd get kicked out of somewhere. They'd stop me at the door. Well, sorry, sir, we don't allow your kind in here. You are too lowbrow. You have the wrong kind of tie on. You must have a bow tie. Do you know what a bow tie is? Yeah, I didn't think. Not a clip-on, an actual. Can you even tie a bow tie? Yeah, run along.
I don't know how to tie a bow tie.
I saw somebody do it once, and I swear they went like this. It's like they took the material and they went. And I was like, what? And they folded it, and they went. And it's like, that's all the motion I saw was this. And it was, I'm like, what is this, a magician?
Wayne, do you ever wear a bow tie?
Yeah. Mike Kinney at work, he bought a few people some bow ties. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I might have it in here somewhere. I had this material. What am I supposed to do with this?
this, and then it gets fatter, and then it gets thin.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I? He's like, oh, I'll do it, and he does it, and then there's a button on the back that you can undo and leave the tie tied, and then just button. Like that's all I needed to know.
Adjust it. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I think I own one tie anymore. I don't know.
I have a closet full, but I never wear them.
Yeah, I had them. I don't know what happened. I used to have leather ties. I don't know what my wife probably tossed them or took them to Goodwill or something.
The 80s called. They want their ties back.
Hey, I had some of those ties had sentimental value to me. The gray one I bought in I think the gray one with the silk backing. Yeah, that's the one I bought in Berlin. West Berlin. That was back in probably 85.
Have y'all seen them ties that it literally zips up behind it, and that's what gets it close?
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, "Look, I got a zip tie."
I've not seen that. I'm gonna have to look that up while one of y'all is talking. So, as anybody can see in the thumbnail, there was a very big want to talk. You want to do Batman now, or do you want to go through some more stuff like this? Start with. I mean, do we want to talk about what's his nuts? He just got canceled.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel.
We
Wait,
can.
what?
Oh, he's
Jimmy
like
Kimmel.
he's fled L.A. and he's in his bomb shelter. And I'm not being what's the word?
Facetious.
Yeah, facetious. Hyperbolic, I think was the actual word I'm looking for. I mean, that's about as long as I appreciated the Man Show for what it was when he and Adam did it, and then when they left, it wasn't any good anymore. I liked him on Ben Stein's Money, and I haven't liked him since. It's like, I don't know. There was just something about his attitude that just didn't, years ago rub. And then I didn't even know he had his own late night show and all that other stuff. It's like, I haven't really paid attention for years and years and years.
Yeah, he's a totally different person now.
Yeah. No, it's like he started to distance himself from that stuff a few years after he left the Man Show, and then I was like, okay, I don't know who's the real Jimmy Kimmel is. And then he was he and his wife got divorced for whatever reason. And at some point he was dating, was it Sarah Silverman? Is that her name? Right?
Yeah.
I think we were dating or something. And then she did some song about Matt Damon, and he didn't think it was funny, and they broke up, and he's been in a downhill slump ever since.
Kind of like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's gone crazy.
I think breaking up with what's her name? Who was he was shacking up with for a while? The former Playboy model. Beau Blonde. Yeah,
it's his wife.
It's in here somewhere. I don't think they ever got married, but now she's married to one of the
what was her name?
I can't remember who she's married to.
I'm gonna go to the Google box.
But it's the not the Wanna Burger. What's that burger joint that the brother started?
Wanna
yes.
I know which one you're talking
I'm having
about.
this effect on everybody tonight. Oh my gosh. But yeah, the older brother was in that singing group. New Kids on the Block or something. Danny.
Oh, the Wahlburgers.
Wahlburgers, yeah.
The Wahlberg, yeah.
Isn't she married to one of the Wahlbergs? No.
Jenny McCarthy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Gosh, my computer's froze up. Like I can see you guys moving, but like everything else isn't working.
Mm.
Trying to do too many things at once.
Apparently.
I mean, does anybody? I mean, we don't have to talk about him. I just wanted to make sure,
I've got it pulled up. Like I'm trying to screen share, but my stupid computer froze up.
My stupid computer.
All right. Well, while you're fixing that, did y'all hear about what's happening in SteamYard?
Oh, you can go mobile from a phone.
Yeah, yep. I saw that.
Yeah, I got
you can go live. I mean, yeah, I did too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, see now Prime can join again. Because he's always having computer issues, but usually he was joining from the phone in the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know, Wayne. Do you know about Prime Mover?
Mm-mm.
guy that he joined us on their old show, and then he was joining us on this one from time to time. We're not. Do we know? Did we figure out where he lives?
I know,
Okay.
but we're live, so
Yeah. So, but yeah, we don't.
even though he won't reply to any of my emails or text messages or phone calls, I'm sure he'll see this eventually. And I'm just trying to figure out like where you at, bud.
Yeah. Oh, now Wayne's leaving. Are those Funko Pops in the background?
There's Dragon Ball Z at the bottom.
Dragon
I
Ball
see
Z.
that.
He's got a bunch of figures. He's got Funko Pops.
Yeah, to the right of the bookshelf. And I think there's
Yeah.
is that Power Rangers? No. Yeah, Wayne, you're gonna have to give us an inventory list there. Is that Funko Pops behind you?
Oh man, I have. It's ridiculous. Yeah, those are my pops.
Oh, you got on both sides. Okay.
It's ridiculous in here. If I turn this light on briefly,
Oh yeah.
get on this section
wow.
here, and then I've got some here. I've got. Let me get this camera right. Statues there. Mighty Mugs here. Wrestling belts on this side. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
My pictures here. It's a work in progress.
All right.
And a creaky, metal chair.
It's all right. I had a rickety metal chair a few years ago. My family decided to get me this. What I said now.
Oh, nice.
It's a gamer chair. It's the big one. I don't know.
I got a new chair too.
Seth, you took my spot.
I don't know, but man, I don't, that's weird. Late, can you rearrange it?
I don't know.
You're gonna.
No. I can knock everybody out on accident.
Hey, you could pull us out and then add us back in one at a time.
The Brady
Playing
Bunch.
musical
Brady Bunch.
chairs.
No, it's one of those puzzles. See, now Wayne's up there. Now I got to get you two situated. That means I got to get all three of you in the right order.
He's like, here's a story.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's see
Anyway,
if this is working.
did you join with your other computer? Is that what happened? I mean, I didn't see. It's like all of a sudden you dropped out and you were right back.
Yeah, I did drop completely, and when I came back on, it still had my things set up there.
Sorry for yawning.
God,
Tog.
it's so
Sorry.
inappropriate.
Oh. Why'd you say late? I already added you in.
I said that before.
2 days.
There we go. It's Carl Malone skit back in the day. And what was the
Yeah.
they went after there's something.
Wait, did go into a bunker?
I may have been a little bit hyperbolic on that, but he did flee.
They did say that he fled the state. Like, I don't know if no, I'm sorry. This is flee Los Angeles
For a
to a
secret location.
secret location. He probably went to like family's house or something.
He went to the panic room with
Something. But I mean, as much as I hate cancel culture and I hate like all the stuff that comes with it, it's as somebody that he in his statute that likes to condemn other people for like him to get it. I mean, like, just come out and face it and be apologize like everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, and
it's hard to find people that hasn't.
Yeah, that's the only thing that to me that is, it was his attitude. Again, like I said, not long after he was out on the Man Show and he was starting to distance himself from that, his attitude really got crappy, and that's when I stopped even caring. Years ago, and
always acting like he's better than everybody else.
And I didn't find him funny, and
that's the part I have a problem with. Don't act like you're better than people.
Right. We got
Just
your
be
audio.
Humble.
There, Seth, but we were video frozen.
Yeah, your camera's frozen.
Something they made a Christmas song I don't know. Let's see, who was it?
Boo.
Gary.
There you go.
Oh,
You're trying to share something.
well, I mean, I pulled it. I wasn't. I just pulled this up to see to try to figure. Gary from Nerdrotic. He posted. He's got a whole video. About it, and it's he goes into more detail than I know. I don't know, whatever, but
well, the thing that I felt his comedic style needed a foil. So when he was on Ben Stein's Money, Ben was the straight guy, right? And he would kind of pair off of him, and similar with Adam. Is Adam Carolla? Is that
it's the other guy?
yeah. And then when they weren't together, that's why I didn't find him funny afterwards. It's like, yeah, he needs that straight man to bounce things off of, and then he just got more up his own butt about how good he was, and then I was just like, I don't care anymore. So
yeah, essentially, I mean, it's just like,
Yep.
I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's that funny anyway. But I think another. It's just I'm tired of, and it's just not. It's not funny to constantly dump on the president, be it whoever. It's constant.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, make jokes about other stuff. Get back to making jokes about fat people. I can make jokes about fat people because I'm fat.
Man, you can't do that either anymore. No one.
It's gotta be body positivity. You gotta be body positive. You can't.
Yeah. I'm positive you're headed for diabetes. That's what.
Right. Right.
But the bad part is, see, I've been really fat. I've been really skinny, and now I'm getting back fat again. My thing is when someone makes a fat joke, it don't hurt my feelings.
No,
I laugh about it. It's funny.
If it's good enough, I'll laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is, I guess where's the joke coming from, right? If it's something that's really, whatever your target is for something, if it's meant to defame or impugn someone or be very hurtful and hateful, and that's it, and you think that's funny. I mean, when I was growing up, yes, I got teased, I got bullied, and I didn't think it was ever funny. Practical jokes are played on me just to be mean. Practical jokes played on me that maybe there's a slight meanness to, but that wasn't the main point. Then once I got over my embarrassment,
were there jokes back then?
Oh,
yeah.
Him and Jesus shit, the Dirty Dozens.
Yeah,
these two don't know the joke behind that.
Yeah, well,
the Lapis old joke.
Yeah.
How did that start?
I don't know.
I
think
know that it was
LMP started it. I think back there, and Moses and Lape ran together.
Yeah.
He would ask me, "Did you know Noah, or was he just distant relative?" I mean,
didn't you light the burning bush on fire?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He said, "What was the one that because the running meme was that I always give bad beer reviews too. Every beer I try, and that's I think Kendo and LMP started that. That I turned in ancient Egypt, I turned the Nile River to beer and gave it a bad review." Something.
Oh,
yeah, I'll be 52 on Sunday, Wayne.
oh wow.
Dang, getting up there, ain't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Pat Morita is the same day, obviously different year, and Elon Musk and
what is Pat Morita?
Huh?
What is Pat Morita?
Who?
Mr.
Miyagi from Mr. Miyagi from.
Oh, I was like, is Pat Morita a Mexican drink?
Oh my gosh.
Boo hiss. He was also Arnold in Happy Days originally, and then he left to do his own series, and then like after 4 or 6 episodes, it got canceled. I barely remember that. I had to look it up the other day, and then Mel Brooks is also the same year, same.
Mel Brooks.
Now there you go. If you were to make Blazing Saddles again, I'm going to give you my I had a thought today. I said, what if Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy wrote a modern version of Blazing Saddles? Because you know what Dave Chappelle basically said to cancel culture. If you don't go see his Netflix special, so imagine that, especially Eddie Murphy's like 1984 Eddie Murphy, right after he left SNL.
Man, when he was raw. Yeah.
Getting raw on Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle writing a modern version of Blazing Saddles.
That would be the most boring movie ever.
Whatever.
Nowadays, no, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking on.
Yeah.
I'm not talking on the goodwill of Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle. I'm just talking about to fit their movie into today's culture.
Oh, yeah, well, they can't fit it in. I mean, Blazing Saddles was way on the edge even then. You know, they were doing. I mean, they were making fun of a lot of stuff too that people were doing.
Yeah. I remember watching that as a little kid, and like my dad showed it to me. I don't know. I was probably over 5, but not yet 10, somewhere in that age range. And I remember hearing some of the like, I heard the N-word and was like, "What in the world?" I'd never heard that before.
Right. Well, and from when I've heard interviews with various actors, and the white actors kept having problems with the language, and Eddie Murphy and what's his name? I'm going to blank on his name. The sheriff.
Oh man, I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name.
But basically, they kind of say it's like because there were times they're like, I don't want to say this. No, go ahead. It's funny, you know. And they had to basically keep prodding people back then in the 70s. So now imagine it would have to be. It'd probably have to be privately funded.
Cleavon Little.
Yeah, Cleavon Little. And you couldn't get a Hollywood studio to do it, because if it could be done again, Mel Brooks would have made it.
Yeah.
So, but I think the Robin Hood Men in Tights was the last funny Mel Brooks movie, and then Love Stinks was mediocre. I found it to be mediocre, and even Robin Hood wasn't that great. It has some good moments, but anyway. But I don't know. I was just thinking about, because I'd listened to WCBS's After Hours. After Dark or whatever it was today, and they were talking about that. They were talking about Dave and a little bit about Eddie Murphy, and then it just later occurred to me. I said, "What if those two rewrote? I mean, make fun of everything, right?
I haven't seen it.
Blazing Saddles. It pulls no punches, but it makes fun literally of everything.
Everything and everybody. Like no one was safe, and no one was safe. But like, Seth said, I would have to go with him. It would be the most boring movie right now because the limitations. They wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh no, it'd have to be made in the same spirit as the other one, and it would have to be privately funded. Somebody could lay down $20 million, get it made, get it distributed. That would be the thing. Getting it out there would be the hardest thing. Yeah. And it's off. Although it probably wouldn't. It would mostly go against the cancel cultures and SJWs. The normies would probably laugh at themselves, right? They'd be in it in some fashion. I mean, they were they were the townsfolk, right? The simple people, morons. Hey, wait a minute.
Isn't there a list of things that Hollywood needs to make a movie? And it's like you got to have X amount of characters of this and X amount of characters of that. Has to have like a female lead or something.
Well, yeah, I'd say some of the people running the studios. I guess it depends on who's making it. I mean, that seems to be the what. But
there was a name for it, and I just can't place it. I'm trying to search it, but
yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, there's a test. There's a something test that the Bechdel test or something that some feminists do use to determine if a movie is misogynist or not.
Oh, that's like that's the thing, and Dave Chappelle said it too. Like, look, art is art is art. It's your rendition of it. you gotta let it go. If you don't want to see it, don't go see it. You know, these rules and regulations if I want to draw a picture and I wanted to use nothing but green ink, but then all of a sudden you have like these environmentalists are like, are you using too much green? You know, then it's a problem. Like,
well, and
it's
anybody
like
colorblind, you're offending them.
right. What about me? I can't see red and green. Like, oh,
All gray.
it's like,
Yeah. But it's vote with your wallet. You know, like it, just move on.
right. That's it. People they'll put themselves in a situation and they'll read or they'll watch a movie that they have no interest in and it's offending them the whole time. But you're sitting right there. You're still turn it off. If I was watching TV, House of the Prairie came on right now, I don't want to see that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it off.
And I don't want to see that because I never wanted to see that. That show was so boring.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it
stuff
had cultural relevance back in like the 70s because the dude, what was the guy's name that like the main character?
Michael Landon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that dude was a big deal like back in the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I respect that it's got what's the word I'm looking for? I respect that it's got like clout from back then, but I don't care to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it as a kid, that and the Waltons, and somewhere along the line, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, maybe. But yeah, those got boring. And it was, I understood why especially my grandparents liked them, because my grandfather was, a simple country guy, kid. He grew up outside of Cincinnati in a small town, and the entire school was kindergarten through 12th grade. And his senior year, there was like 75 students in the entire school. So, he kind of related to all that, but it got boring. And then somewhere along the line, we got Knight Rider and the A-Team.
Yeah. Now, in like 40 years from now, we're going to be watching like How I Met Your Mother or something. And they're going to be like, kids are going to be like, turn that crap off. That's crap. Cut it off. South Park will be on like season 80 or something.
I don't know. I still watch Andy Griffin.
Oh, I do too. I won't go out of my way to look for it, but I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. I mean, I've seen every episode, so like I know. But I have an autographed picture of Don Knotts.
Really?
Yeah, it's not here. It's at my parents' house.
When I see Don Knotts, I see Mr. Furley.
Yeah.
He was cool.
You know how he got on that show in Three's Company? Well, at least the way I understand it, I saw a Three's Company documentary type thing several years ago, and when the people that were, I can't remember the characters' names, but the landlords, they decided to do a spinoff series, and that one went for, I thought, 2 seasons or something. It went past whatever the minimum it needed for them to come back. If it went so far, then if it got canceled, they couldn't come back type thing. But they kept saying in the writers' meetings, what we need? We need someone like Don Knotts to do something. It was like there were some things that they wanted to do, and finally someone said, well, why don't we call him? Find out what he's doing. And he wasn't, and he had seen the show and liked it, and it's like, come on down. You're the next contestant. So, but they wanted some of that wild, wiry energy. And he was, he must have been he had to have been in his 50s or 60s by the time that show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's actually box.
Do what?
Let's actually box.
There you go. But anyway, part of how he got on the Andy Griffith show is he knew Andy Griffith from his stand-up days. And he wrote to him and said, hey, your Andy Taylor needs a partner, needs a deputy on that show.
And they wanted to make him the straight-laced, and Andy was supposed to be the funny one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Although, have you ever heard Andy Griffith stand up? It's pretty funny, but man, he's completely different. He is more like Don Knotts. He's a bit more fired up and energetic. And
if you can catch the first, I don't know, I think the first two they really do character swap, where
Yeah.
Andy is supposed to be the funny one, and Barney. But then they realize, hey man, this just doesn't work.
Mhm.
Let's swap you guys and have at it, and that's where things go.
Now,
My
you see
dad's
where Aunt B didn't like Andy.
Yeah, I've heard about that. My dad's a super fan of Andy Griffin, and growing up as a kid, like we watched every single episode except for when I went to color.
Yeah, I can't watch him.
It was almost like a religion. Like you don't watch colored episodes of Andy Griffith show.
Yeah, wasn't it like the last season or the last two, and then it went to Mayberry RFP or something like that.
RFD.
RFD,
Yeah, and
Wait,
Don
what?
Knotts wasn't on there, and they deputized Goober or Gomer, and so
Right.
they were like a deputy. It just wasn't any good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember seeing something about that because I remember I think it's when we lived in Tennessee in the late '80s because I'd been in Germany and then we didn't have cable for a while and then my dad finally got it and it was on like TBS or something. They kept saying Mayberry RFD and I never saw Andy Griffith. I saw the guy that was I guess became the main star because they were trying to spin it off kind of soft, right? Kind of everybody else wanted to do something different, and they kind of spun off. And I'm like, what in the world is that? I think I remember trying to watch one or two. I was like, this is not very good. That's why probably it didn't last but a few seasons. But now, sometime go look up some of Andy Griffith's stand-up, especially his stuff before. So I guess mid '60s.
I'll do that because I'm
Quite a
stuck
bit
at work all day tomorrow.
You'll probably find something. Yeah, but anyway. So, but yeah, and once with Don Knotts too, I first got introduced to him through the Disney movies. So the Apple Dumpling Gang, and then there's Private Eyes, which I don't think is a Disney movie. Can't be. There's too many sexual jokes in it, but it's like a PG or PG-13. It's him and Tim Conway. They're private investigators. It's pretty good. Well, from what I remember when I was like 13 or 12 or whatever the age was. So I guess probably 13 or 14. But if you ever watch it, in the business card is pretty funny. What the maid does with the business card.
What the maid does with the business card?
Yeah. French maid. It's not that bad. It's just funny. She puts it, but it squeaks. Pretty weird. I mean, especially pre-adolescent me was like, "Whoa, that's funny." But the Apple Dumpling Gang, that was 2 movies. Harry Morgan's in one of them. I forget which one. I think it's the first one. Actually, it might be in both of them, but I'm pretty sure I don't know. It's one where I think it's the first one where they're going to rob a bank and he's like the mayor of a town and they get caught. And they're just like building the town, and they tell them they release them and said, "You guys are going to be back here tomorrow at 2:00 for your hanging for bank robbery." And oh yeah, we don't have any ropes, so bring a rope. And so and then one of the two can't fit. I think it's Tim Conway's character's like, "Well, where are we going to get a rope? I don't know where. I don't. How are we going to get 2 ropes that hang us?" And Don Knotts, just get on the donkey, let's go. And somebody says that you aren't going to hang. I forget exactly what they say to the mayor, but basically you're not going to hang them, are you? It's like, well, if they show up tomorrow at 2:00 with a rope, yes, because he was really hoping they'd get out of town because they're like a gang wannabe, outlaw wannabes, but there were some real outlaws that were around, and he wanted to get them out of the way for their own safety, basically. Stupid. So, but. Anyway,
Do what?
Off the topic,
I don't. Are we even on the topic? We're just bouncing. Around.
Yeah, we've been bouncing.
I mean, the only topic I know is Batman. We haven't even started talking about it yet.
The Blues Brothers.
Yes.
My boy asked me about it because he heard it, and I've never seen it. Is it worth watching?
Oh yes.
Your face. Hey, do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
It's on there. It's free.
Okay.
Dude,
Like, I've
shut
heard
your
about it,
face.
and I felt left out, but I never gotten around to
Oh
seeing
my god.
Start as an
Tommy, get off right now and go watch it.
it.
It's been a while since I saw that. It used to come on in New York. There was like a handful of movies that used to come on WPIX Channel 11, and the Blues Brothers is one of them. That, like Flash Gordon.
Flash. That one.
Yeah, with the Queen
Every one of
soundtrack.
us.
Yeah,
Copyright strike.
Never Ending Story. Like, it was like a handful of movies that you just knew they were going to replay that over and over and over. Like, especially on the weekends. Oh my God. You just sit there and with the cheesy commercials and all that. Yeah, that was definitely on there.
Yeah.
Dude,
I have to
man,
watch that.
all the different things that go on in the Blues Brothers. The church service where they're all like jumping and excited. Yeah. And then like you show the clip and then the dude's like jumping doing flips in the air.
Is that in it? No, Aretha Franklin's in she's the one that owns the diner, right? Her and
Yeah.
her husband. And she says,
You
"You're
want-
not gonna
you
believe
want-
this." Yeah.
This guy wants 2 pieces of dry French toast. No, nothing on it. And then was it 7 whole fried chickens?
Oh God!
I think she says, "You can't believe I got 2 white guys. White guys are honkies or something." Because it's a very, is that early 80s or was that the late
It's
70s?
gotta be late 70s.
Was it 70s? I think it was.
I don't know.
Died in the early
Hey.
80s.
Hey Alexa, what year did the Blues Brothers come out?
The film The Blues Brothers was released about 40 years ago on June 20th, 1980.
June
1980.
20th, 1980.
Now, Tommy, Blues Brothers 2000 is
Yeah.
crap. Skip that one.
Oh,
That's Dan Aykroyd and what's his name? Shoot.
Oh yeah, and Carrie Fisher's in that because she blows up the
Yeah.
thing. And John Candy,
I
R.I.P.
mean, it's see, now there's another movie. I mean, you've got neo-Nazis, you've got rednecks,
Oh yeah,
you've got the state troopers, you have nuns, and I mean, like the nuns that'll rack your knuckles type nuns. You've got Black Gospel. Don't they do a street dance in that too? Isn't that?
yes, with
Yeah.
Ray
It's
Charles.
Dale.
He plays Shaky Tail Feather.
Yeah. And
That
you've
is
got
such a-
prison.
Huh?
You've got they're doing it in the prison at the end, but it's like you've got like a cross section of society in that movie that it would be tough to do now.
And every part of it was just hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the Police Academy movies, man.
Yeah.
Like the Blue Oyster, forget it. You can't do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you can't do that now.
what was that one? I'm gonna try to describe this where it don't get sound bad, but they drilled a hole in the girl's bathroom, and then the teacher comes and grabs him.
Porky's?
That was Porky's. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that by mistake. It was a VHS tape. My parents had like 8 movies on it. And I'm just watching. It's like Animal House, Porky, Porky's 1, Porky's 2, Bachelor Party. Like 7 years old, like what in the world?
Yeah. Bachelor Party's pretty good too. Yeah.
Yep. Good old VHS.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. Just my eyes have dusted to the. My screen over here suddenly looks really red tinted. I
Uh-oh.
don't know. I might be looking at my screen too long. My eyeballs are all used to the bright.
You sure it ain't my face? I got sunburnt today.
Yeah, you do look a little crispy. Yeah. Yeah, today
went
we
to the
had
lake.
we had traveling rain showers. You know, if you were under the cloud, you got rain, and then it was back to warm and muggy.
Mm.
So, but yeah. So anyway, but yeah, check out the Blues Brothers. If some of the cultural crap doesn't make any sense to you, just ask. Because I was 12 years old in 1980, so I remember some of that kind of stuff. But
Man, I was
but
3.
yeah, if I remember correctly, that started as a SNL skit,
Mm-hmm.
and then they made it into a movie. Then Belushi died before they could ever make a sequel. Although I don't know, it's a complete movie as far as I'm concerned. Making a sequel, kind of, and then I keep wanting to say John Denver, but it's not. What was the name of the show that Roseanne was on?
Roseanne.
Was it called Roseanne that she got fired
Yeah.
from? And
Yeah.
the guy that played her husband,
Oh,
Yeah.
John Goodman.
John Goodman. Yeah,
John Goodman.
He's in there's a Blues Brothers 2000 that I think that was in the 90s, and it wasn't any good. Dan Aykroyd's too old, and
Now it's called The Connors, ain't it? Though, ain't it? The Roseanne show called The Connors.
well, they brought it
think-
back, and then somebody didn't like something she said, and then I don't know what they did with it.
And they
Did
changed it to the Connors. Yeah.
Is it
She
still
said-
on, or did they cancel it?
No, we can't have Roseanne without Roseanne is like Martin without Martin. You just,
Yeah.
Or what was there was a show was that in the 80s? Valerie Harper was on a show. And then for whatever reason, she left. It was called Valerie. And then it switched networks even. It was called The Harper Family.
Yep.
And that I don't remember that working too well either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, especially when the main thrust of the show is someone's personality, and you get rid of them. And I don't remember back why she left. I don't remember if it was just, it's like I remember when the Dukes of Hazzard, when the two main guys weren't there for a while, and it was
they had their cousins.
Yeah. They were on the NASCAR circuit while their cousins did stuff. And I remember my dad being all negative. Oh, they wanted something. And then like years later, I found it was a contract negotiation issue, but it's something to do with safety or something. It wasn't anything to.
Look at this.
There you go.
Batman.
Yeah. Seth's not even paying attention.
He said he wanted to get on the podcast, Daddy. I was like, okay.
Start him in. Rising star. In a few years, they'll have his own show. Going, Dad, get away. Get away. Get on my camera. Go. No one. They want to see me play with toys. They don't want to see you.
Yeah, right.
How old is he?
He is 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
Sleeping through the night or not?
No. No. Not at all.
Is he your first? I mean, what?
No. He's my third.
Okay. Yeah, our first girl, she slept the night pretty quickly, and then our son took him a while. I don't remember how long.
Girls are different. Like, does Lucy sleep through the night?
I'm 6 years old and still don't sleep through the
No,
night.
I mean we started feeding her a little heavier in the evening, and she sleep a little bit, but she slept. She started getting better, but she's 14 months, and
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. I had high hopes for 1 year old. I'm like, all right, let's get to 1. Dang. Ugh.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly when our son started to sleep through the night, and it was part of it was feeding him a bit more when he got on to the baby food and stuff like that. It helped. But yeah, I don't remember. I wasn't waking up back then. Once I was asleep, man, the alarm half the time couldn't wake me up. So I sleep sort of some. Heck, I don't even sleep through the night.
I don't either.
I
I
wake
get like
up about
4
3.
hours.
I wake up about 3 o'clock and I gotta pee.
Like, I won't go to sleep until 2 or 3. Then I'll sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I gotta do 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours. Then I'm up. But
Yeah. Oh, who's private chatting again?
oh
Oh, okay.
man.
Sorry, man.
yeah. Anywho,
Was
let's,
that Corona?
no,
Oh.
nope. Yeah. Batman.
Yeah, let's get that, man.
We get to the main topic? Sure.
Yeah.
Batman, I just picked up 5 new Batman figures. Damn, they're expensive.
What did you get?
I got. Hold on, let me show you.
Oh, there's a way.
All right, let's see. So I got. Let's see. You got this Batman from, I guess, Arkham Asylum, the Arkham video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I got that one.
I was trying to make his screen larger, but it keeps making me larger.
Oh, wait a minute. Then I got the old school animated series Batman. Look at his legs, man.
Dude.
Always skip leg day, I see.
Yeah.
Every day is chest day.
For real. Then I guess comic book Batman.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then these two guys. Let's see. These two black and white ones. This damn reflection is killing me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm once Seth told me I was doing Batman, I was like, all right, let's go. Because
Wait, what's your favorite Batman?
actor? Yeah, that's it depends, man, because it depends on the era, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go with Adam West. Ha! No. I'll probably I don't know. I'm gonna have to say Michael Keaton, because he changed Batman completely. Like, I remember watching that movie in 1990, going to the movie theater, standing online forever, and Batman was like, before that you would see Batman on Scooby-Doo. Remember? You would see Batman on the.
No, I honestly we don't remember.
Wow.
So I mean, I hate to put you on the spot, but like for real though, like you're kind of shedding new light for me at least.
Yeah, because Batman was campy back then. Like, he was the greatest detective. Adam West made him all goofy because he had no muscle tone whatsoever. Batman was on the Super Friends. He was always smiling, running around with Robin. And then Batman 1990 came out, and I remember just hitting the scene, and the Batman logo was different. It was cool. He was all in black. At the very first scene when you see him, he jumps in, and the guy's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I'm Batman." Like, oh, stop. Boom. Like, it changed Batman forever. From that point right there, from that line, changed Batman forever. And I had to give it to because, and the thing is too, Michael Keaton was funny. He was Beetlejuice. He was never really serious. And all of a sudden, this guy's Batman. Like, he's not gonna pull it off, but he killed it. So I would say that's my favorite Batman, right next, like very close to Christian Bale, because he took that role and ran with it hard. But I gotta say,
what was the comic books like before and after Michael Keaton Batman?
so like before, again, he was world's greatest detective. The very first 1930s Batman, he actually was like a killer. Like, he killed.
Yeah.
They stopped him, redid it, and he was a little more campy, a little more kid friendly, and he had this whole credo: "I'm not going to kill," and blah blah blah. He had a couple of dark series, I guess. Like, Frank Miller jumped in and did The Dark Knight, and it was like, whoa, it was edgy, it was real dark. But mostly Batman, he wore the blue and gray suit. He barely wore the black. He wore the black sometimes for stealth, maybe. It wasn't like he was. And he was, he knuckled up, he fought, but he wasn't the beast he was now. But then they did The Dark Knight. And at the time, you got to think about it too, it was 1990. So the transition from the 80s to the 90s, everybody wanted the 90s to be a little more edgy. So the comics got a little edgier. The Joker wasn't as much as he's a sick sociopath now, but before he was just like, oh, he had the gun that said bang, and he would blow up the bank, but Batman would come and punch him in his face, and then it was over, But the Joker was making that transition into a sociopath, and that's where Jack Nicholson took the role, and kind of, and that's when people say, Heath Ledger's Joker was the best Joker ever, which he probably was, but they forget about Jack Nicholson's Joker, who was a perfect rendition of the Joker at the time, you know? And Michael Keaton, and once that Batman, and I remember when Batman came out, it changed everything, man. Pop culture went ridiculous because you had Batman logos on like little neck things, little necklaces, and the Batman t-shirts, the Joker t-shirts. It just changed everything. It was so much of an emphasis on Batman that summer that DC had to change everything. And Superman was here, and Batman was like, okay, cool. Then you had Wonder Woman and everybody else, and then Batman just said nope. And to this day, you can who do you want to see more, Batman or Superman? F Batman, Superman. What's Batman doing? Batman took over from that point for the DC universe, and just is never back since.
Yeah, I growing up, I used to really love Superman. But the older I get, the more that I kind of like Batman too, because of Superman just is so perfect. He's unbeatable, and it's hard to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that's why I find myself enjoying Batman more. Plus, there's more stories. I mean, we've had, since Christopher Reeve passed away or got out of the suit, you've had Brandon Routh make a god awful Superman movie, and then you had the one Man of Steel, which wasn't that good. You know,
Seems like they had a bigger budget for the graphics than actual story writing.
right?
Yeah, and like you said, Superman is too perfect. You can't relate to him.
Well, his story's the same way. They find a weakness, they give it to him, he overcomes it, and then kills him, and that's the end of the story.
Because all you got is kryptonite. Like,
yeah,
you know, the thing about Batman versus Superman that they totally dropped the ball on is the fact that Superman's weakness is he isn't as smart as he wants to be. You know, Superman's weakness is he can be outsmarted by anybody with the brain. Forget kryptonite. Kryptonite, that's easy. But that's why Lex Luthor, his biggest villain is Lex Luthor, a human being who would go toe-to-toe with Batman on a mental level, but Batman always beats Superman because he's smarter than him, you know, and they never really draw attention to that. And like you said, Superman's is way too perfect. Batman, he can be hurt. Has no powers. He runs around the streets. He does the things that we wish we could do, and it makes it realistic enough that he has no powers that we actually think, oh, I was learned every martial arts and I had $18 billion. I could do that too. You know, you think you can do that. You can't. Yeah. But you relate to him.
All right, we're gonna touch base from an episode a while back. Wayne, what Batmobile do you like?
Oh man. Oh.
This started an argument on we have a Facebook Messenger where we set up like show ideas and whatnot, and there's another dude that's not on here tonight, and he was in there, and we started the conversation about Batmobiles. Have you seen the image for the Robert Pattinson Batmobile?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Be that as it may, I would rather fight crime in that than I would pretty much. Well, the Tumbler's cool.
Oh, see, I was hoping you didn't say
that. But the other ones are not. They're just not. They look cool. Now, don't get me wrong. They all look cool. But the Lincoln, I think it was a Lincoln Zephyr, was from the '66 Batman.
Okay.
All right, that and the Robert Pattinson Batmobile are like the two best ones I would want to drive through New York City really fast in.
See, I was gonna say if I had to choose, the two I would choose would have been the 1966 one with the little red light on the top. That one is dope.
Yeah.
And the original 1990s first Batmobile from the first Batman movie that Michael Keaton drove, because The other ones had too much nonsense going on them.
We Wikipedia, like we searched the dimensions for all the different sizes, and I think it was the Batmobile from Batman and Robin.
Wasn't it like 19 feet?
33 feet long.
I know there was one that was over 30 feet. So yeah. Well, I didn't believe him. I was like, "There's no way," and I looked at him.
You couldn't make a turn over 13 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You would lose control over 13 miles an hour. So, like, imagine going through New York City and be like, "Excuse me."
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, gotta back up. 2-point turn. Yep. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love the movie Batmobiles, and I think they do look really cool. However, they're not practical.
Yeah, no.
What about the military one?
The Tumbler.
Yeah. That one it was just clumsy. Like the Batmobile is supposed to be real sports sleek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with the Tumbler, and you can see it in the movie, there's an aerial shot of the Tumbler going across a bridgeway, and I can't remember if it was the first. It would either have to be the first or second one because it got blown up at the end of the second one. But where you see it going, it's going across a bridge, and you can see it like shifting lanes to get around between people, and you can see the body roll as it's changing lanes, and it's like, dude, I would not want to be going that fast in that thing.
Yeah,
because like. The body roll makes it so unstable for handling purposes. You get to going with a body roll and hit a joint in the bridge, that thing flips. You're done.
Now, did y'all watch the Robot Chicken where they made fun of it? So he's riding along. You know how when he wrecks, he turns it into a bike and goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they continued that. So he drives and it turns into a bike, and then he hits again, and it turns into a hoverboard. And then he hits again, and he turns into one of them one wheels. And he's trying to
Dude, have you seen Sonic?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Have you seen Sonic, Wayne?
Yeah, Robotnik's.
Yeah, the tank.
He's like, "Oh, we got it now."
We got it now. Yeah. It is a 2-wheel one, and then all of a sudden it was like the 1-wheel, like unicycle coming up.
That little thing.
Yeah. But no, like I really enjoy the Batmobiles, and I enjoy the look of them. But as far as practicality, man, the new one in the Robert Pattinson movie, there's some things that I would do different, but I overall like the fact that it's more of a muscle car because I'm a muscle car guy, so of course I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But
so what do you guys think about the whole Robert Pattinson thing? I'm hyped about it, honestly. For a couple of reasons, because like one, I'm see Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie that's supposed to be coming out, that Robert Pattinson's in, and I'm watching the trailers. I'm like, this dude is not Edward Cullen anymore. He's not from Twilight.
The thing that got me, like, he never was the bad part of Twilight. Like, I've seen him because I had to watch him, but.
Yeah.
Like watching them, he was goofy and stuff, but like the other characters are what made that movie suck.
Yeah. Like what's her name? Bella.
Yeah.
And
of course she's gonna be the strongest one afterwards.
Yeah. This is my happy face.
When we start with
this is my sad face.
Horrible
this is my
writing.
Surprised face.
Yeah, with the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I liked. I watched several of the movies. And I forget at one point I told my wife, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not watching them anymore." But I liked Alice, the lady that played Alice. I forget the actress's name, and then Anna Kendrick. I was like, "Oh, how come she's not in this movie more?"
Right. Where is she?
All right. She can actually act and like, well, have you ever seen her Kristen Stewart impersonation?
No.
Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty good.
Man. Pattinson, he's a good actor. He does his thing. I saw something else that he was in, and I'm excited because it's a new spin. It's a new director. It's not Zack Snyder.
When are you gonna go see Tenet?
When it got pushed back again. It got pushed back to August sometime in the end of August.
Now it's August.
It was July 1st and July 15th, and now August.
Well, see, now I heard it was July 15th, but then I heard it got pushed back to the end of July.
Now August. Yep.
Now I'll say, for me, I'm scared for the movie, and the only reason why is because if they do anything like they did with the Suicide Squad Joker in it, I'm done. I'm sorry. That was like the worst Joker for me.
August 12th.
August 12th.
Yeah, we'll have to go. We'll have to link up and go.
Yeah, we gotta see that.
Yeah.
That Joker was a different spin. He was a gay, and not. He was. I saw what they tried to do with it, and for what it was supposed to be, Jared Leto. But it was the direction. That's not the Joker's not supposed.
His fault was the writer.
Right.
Because I think Jared Leto is a pretty decent actor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the the writers and stuff is really what did him a disservice.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand. Do you guys watch the DC animated movies?
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. If you guys don't, you just go and look them up and watch these movies. They're PG-13. Now a majority of them are rated R. The scripting is right, the animation is right, the storyline is great. DC, which is Warner Brothers, knocks it out the park. But then they can't transfer that over to live action, and I don't understand. Yeah. Christopher Nolan, impeccable. His Dark Knight trilogy can't be touched. And then that's where it stops. Wonder Woman was okay, and I'm excited to see Wonder Woman 84. See if
I can't wait to see that either.
Yeah, Shazam was good, but they took different spins on these movies. But then, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and Man of Steel. Who did Man of Steel? Was that Singer? No, who did Man of Steel? Who directed that?
I'm looking.
I will say this though, I'm more of a Marvel fan, but when it comes to a lead role, DC has it pat down for a female lead role.
That was Zack Snyder.
See, Zack Snyder. But you said, all right. You said when it comes to lead roles, DC.
For females, DC's actually got it. For Marvel female roles, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, look at.
I think Black Widow though. Black Widow is a great, strong female character.
She is, but she hasn't got her main story yet.
She should have had her story after Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, the female lead roles. I mean, you have the Olsen girl who's Scarlet Witch, and her TV show is going to be pretty cool. But I mean, yeah. And then, but you look at Wonder Woman. You look at what's her name? Gal Gadot. And at first, I was like, the girl from Fast and Furious. Like, no, like Wonder Woman's an Amazon. She's a beast. And then she comes up and she kills the role. Like she's amazing. Like I'll watch her all day as Wonder Woman, as anything really, but as Wonder all day above and beyond Captain Marvel. Like I watched Kong Skull Island, I guess last night for like the umpteenth time, and Brie Larson did a great job in that. But then I'm like, where was this in Captain Marvel? Like Scott Pilgrim, she was the crazy ex-girlfriend of Scott Pilgrim. I loved her in Scott Pilgrim. And then you did your Captain Marvel. I'm like, no. And I didn't want to say this because Seth would love it because it's a personal victory because we had this back and forth about the two Captain Marvels, DC and Marvels, and I could have sworn she was going to do something good and she didn't. I'm so upset.
Yeah. And part of that was the writing and Captain Shoehorn there. Yeah. Oh, I still see apologists for that. Oh, it brought in $1 billion. I'm like, yeah, I'm convinced several million.
I don't know how much of that is correct.
No, there's all kinds of talk of shenanigans about movies. There was some other Disney movie that was out that was being lumped into it. It had to be reported as it. That was one of the rumors. There was all kinds. It was definitely, it wasn't rumors because there were people who were working in theaters that were showing pictures of sold out empty theaters. mean, they were sold out.
If
No
you
show, nobody showed up. It was sold out pre, and no one showed up.
if
Wow.
you spent an X amount of money at American Eagle, you were sent to Captain Marvel tickets.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was the only MCU movie that had anything questionable behind it. They gave away a lot of tickets. There was rumors that Disney was buying tickets through other organizations, and in the first couple of weeks, they get almost all of that back. So they could spend $100 million on ticket sales and get 90 million back.
Yeah.
Through the movie theater doesn't tend to make any money on the movie until like the third week.
Right.
This is why the concessions are $12 for a Coke. But yeah, there were a long list of, and it was the only MC movie that any of that was even believable.
Yeah.
So it's like, we didn't have it for Black Panther, we didn't have it for Ant-Man and the Wasp, some of those other sidebar movies that weren't of the main drive of the plot. They kind of added here and there, Guardians of the Galaxy, although that had a little bit more with the second one, had a bit more. First one, which one is that they actually dealt with those beings? Was that the first one? Second one, and there was a stone there, right?
Mhm.
So those types of things, and that was the only one. That was the only one that had anything questionable.
What followed Captain Marvel? Was it Endgame?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay, so
between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yep, and that's the thing. All the other Marvel movies building up were, knocked out the park. I mean, Thor Ragnarok did about 780 million, and then Black Panther came and it did a billion, and then Infinity War, we know what happened with that, and then we didn't have anything. We had Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Right, that came after too, but that had to lead into Infinity War.
right, and then here comes Captain Marvel, the big bad Captain Marvel, that was supposed to be the launching pad going into Endgame, and it didn't have it. And I know when they made it, they were like, "Damn it, we didn't do it this time, guys." So they had to make it seem like it was something that it wasn't. And first female lead movie, and it paled in comparison to Wonder Woman. Like,
Yeah, but first female lead movie was Elektra in like 2004.
Yeah, for Marvel. Yeah.
oh boy, yeah. I'll take Captain Marvel then.
That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, they spun that so hard. It was like first female lead on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like that.
Well, if you want to go all the way back to Alien, Sigourney Weaver was the lead in that.
Yeah.
Only survivor, and that's 79.
And didn't they
78?
bring Captain Marvel out on a holiday weekend so that it would be a
Yeah.
bigger?
Well, and you had all kinds of free tickets, and then they were like getting various girls' organizations giving them tickets to go in, and they acted like, this was the first, and I'm like, Wonder Woman came out a few years ago and it did better, and you had
They tried to do all that women only kind of stuff with Wonder Woman, saying that it was going to be be feminist, yada yada yada,
Yeah.
and then they go in there and Wonder Woman is like a strong female character that's not a feminist and just like a cool down to earth chick.
Well, there was a bar. Some of that was but that wasn't the studio doing that, right? There was a bar
That's
in
true.
Texas or something that wanted to have a women's only screening, and that but that violated federal law and discrimination laws, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, do whatever. But they got an unlikable actress and a horrible script. It's like Superman. But
Five film collection.
Is that a Blu-ray? But I think Captain Marvel would have worked better like 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Something that, even if it was set back in the 80s, that maybe like right after the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Or maybe even you could have a build-in, but they made her too powerful, then she would just stopped everything.
Yeah.
But and I recently was watching Infinity War again. There's something I wanted to look up. Now it's not on Netflix anymore, but it was. And I'm guessing Thor, because he was, he was fat Thor and half drunk, but he's like, once he shows up, he just starts destroying everything.
Yeah, and
he's flying around, right. And then and then he's able to injure he almost kills a Thanos with all the stones, and then in game, he can't. Thanos doesn't have any of the stones, and he can't even scratch him.
Exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
And they're like,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
it's because he had Stormbreaker, and Stormbreaker was blah, blah. He had Stormbreaker when he fought
Yeah,
Thanos. They're like, oh, because Thanos was more ruthless back then, and he was a little more slower and calculated. He had the Infinity Gauntlet.
yeah.
What
Well,
was the point of the Infinity Gauntlet if this
right.
can't stop it?
Right, because he throws it. He's flying in with it. He throws it, and he used the Infinity Gauntlet to shoot a beam out, and it still goes all the way in and still hits him.
Yeah.
And that's when he said you should have gone for the head. And of course, when he snaps, then it's like he comes back to life essentially, and
All
then
right.
escapes.
I got a question for you. Do you think, this is my personal opinion, when you ever add time travel into that kind of stuff, like even with Superman where he flew around the Earth, I don't like them after that because you can easily fix anything with time travel. Something happens, go back, fix it, you're good. Superman, after that one, I was like, man, now there's no problems. Like you stub your toe, just go around twice, and your toe's not broken.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Like when Don Cheadle, War Machine, when Rhodey said, if you can go back in time, this is go back and find baby Thanos, and
Yeah,
it's true. Like, just they're like, oh no, you can't do that because your timeline is going to stay the same. It is once you start messing with time, it just makes everything possible, and then now everything is just not interesting anymore.
Yeah, because it's so easy then.
Yeah.
The movie
Yeah.
pissed me off.
You mad because Tony snapped himself to death?
I'm the more this goes on, the more I'm thinking that Skrull snapped himself to death.
No,
We'll
there's
find out.
another theory. Have you heard the other theory?
Uh-uh.
So if you go into the comics, there's one version of Iron Man where he's actually evil. Have you read it?
No.
Like, you know how Bill Gates is trying to chip everybody?
Yeah.
He does it. He does it. And then he gets to where he controls people. He starts out good and then goes evil.
Huh.
They get that Iron Man thinking that he's good. He's actually evil. That's what they're thinking about bringing into the MCU.
That would be cool though, because
Yeah.
with Doctor Strange's the Multiverse of Madness, and this is where they're gonna mess up too, because like you said, with time travel it's one thing, but now you can do the multiverse. So there's an infinite amount of Tony Starks and Peter Parkers, and you're gonna open that gate, and you could bring anybody back that's dead, and like, oh yeah, this is Earth 1015's Tony Stark, and he guys them back, man. And then he's got herpes or something, and he's not the same guy. It's like, oh, come on now, you guys are gonna really screw up the whole thing, because now everything is possible and nothing is realistic. Even though we're talking about superheroes, but nothing's real.
Well, Marvel did a great job at the beginning and mostly through making it realistic. Like, okay, this could possibly happen.
Right.
I'm afraid they're going to cross that line to where you're like, yeah, this ain't going to happen.
Phase 4 is going to be very telling, even without the virus in the middle of it all. It's a big shift, right? You had 22 movies up, for the fans to hear Captain Marvel utter 2 words. Avengers Assemble, right? I understand, and I've listened to a lot. I had been watching some audience reaction videos, and I was trying to figure out something. Unfortunately, Netflix didn't have Endgame, but you had to be on Disney Plus for that, for streaming.
Yeah.
And because I was actually trying to, I got a question after my ramble here, but the 2 biggest applause from various ones was Iron Man's interest in Infinity War. I mean, not Iron Man, Thor. Where it's he arrives at Wakanda, and you see this the beam come down, and you just see Stormbreaker come through and just take out a bunch of stuff, and then he kind of says, I'm here, and he's got lightning coming out from everything because he's really, really pissed off. and he does bring me Thanos and takes out half the army with one slam, and then Avengers Assemble. And what's interesting too is in every case that people are talking, they're like, they're seeing everybody come out, they're just hollering everybody. Spider-Man probably getting the biggest applause there. And then we hear he said, Captain America says Avengers, and then it's dead silence until he says Assemble. It is bizarre. I mean, it's people in different cultures all over the world, and they're all and it's like, is he going to say it? And the second he says it, they all go nuts.
Yeah. Yep.
So speaking of which, I know he was there and he got part of the rubble. Where does Hawkeye in that battle? And none of the clips I can find, he's there. I can't remember because I know he helped him get the gauntlet, and Rocket and Ant-Man's down there because there's some of those creatures that are looking for it, and they have to kill them. And then Hulk is down there, and then Ant-Man becomes real big, and when he opens his hand, he's got Hulk, War Machine, and Rocket. Where's Hawkeye?
Yeah, because like you said, he was the one. He grabbed the gauntlet first, and he was doing the whole football run with it. And then once he dropped it, Black Panther picked it up, and that was it.
Yeah. So I don't remember what happened to him after that. After they all assemble, essentially, I don't remember where he is.
I have to watch it tonight. Now I got to look at that.
Yeah. So
there's a video. It's the graphics ain't the best at all, but it shows a storyline if the other people died instead of them when it came to the snap. So you'd still have Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Iron Man would be gone, and all them. It showed that version how they would defeat, and I'll have to find it and send it to you, Seth, to send out. But it was actually a better story. The guy actually wrote a better story for Endgame than they did for Endgame.
Wow.
And Groot became an adult, so you got to see the adult version of Groot again.
Yeah, I do miss that. He was cool.
Yeah. Although he had his moment there when he put the Stormbreaker together, it's like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
That always raises that question. Groot, because he attached himself to Stormbreaker and he lifted it up, and they're like, oh, does that mean that Groot is worthy of Mjolnir? But anybody was able to lift Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker didn't have that same. Because remember, Thor's Odin in the first Thor, he whispered the words, whoever is worthy can lift the hammers and imbue with the power of Thor, and he tossed it and went to Midgard, and Thor couldn't lift it. They never did that with Stormbreaker, so anybody could lift Stormbreaker. So people were like, does that mean that Groot's worthy to lift Mjolnir? Like, no, it is the same thing. Because Cap lifted both, but Stormbreaker didn't have the same quality as Mjolnir did.
Yeah. Well, Vision lifted Mjolnir too.
Yeah.
Now, Wayne, I asked them, what do you think of what they did with the Hulk in Endgame?
When him being a Professor Hulk?
Yeah.
It was cool, but they introduced it with no background, and that was a sloppy part.
Well, mine is, I've read some of the comics where Professor Hulk, he still had that anger. He still had that fight in him. This Hulk was like a pacifist. Like he was like,
right.
Yeah, he was. They should have made him gray.
Yeah,
because Gray Hulk was Bruce Banner. He wasn't as strong as Green Hulk. He didn't have the rage, but he was more intelligent and he was just real chill. So, but Green Hulk, any Green Hulk has that rage and that savageness to him. So they had to change his color to gray, but they needed to explain it. Like, it was just like he's hanging out, taking selfies with kids, and eating pancakes. Like, what happened?
Like, how is he going to face off against Red Hulk though, like that? Think about that. He would get destroyed.
Yep, because Red Hulk is not to be messed with. Savage Hulk can barely deal with Red Hulk, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and that's going back to like the whole Batman thing. That's the thing about Batman that is awesome because there's so many of those supernatural things that Batman doesn't deal with that we all sit back and go, "Oh, that's cool. I can get with that." You know, like we were talking about the time travel stuff. Batman doesn't do that. Doesn't deal with that stuff. You know, Superman shooting, going back and making the Earth spin backwards. We don't got to deal with that. It doesn't happen. You know, you got crazy villains who do crazy things, and you're just sitting like, all right, how are you gonna figure this one out? He got his back broke and got thrown into a hole. Like, oh, like, all right, what are you gonna do now? You know, you can't go back in time. So that's one of the good things about Batman that needs to stay that way. Because once they start messing with that aspect of them, then I'm not watching it no more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
what do you think about Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman and Flash?
that's gonna be dope. I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna do it. Like what? Obviously, it's gonna be in the future, but who? Because they're trying to get the guy that played the comedian in Watchmen.
Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Yeah, he's gonna come back as Wayne to play in the Flash movie because not Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne.
Right. His dad, he's gonna come back and reprise that role because in the Flashpoint, the storyline is Bruce gets killed and not Thomas, and then Thomas grows up to be Batman, but he's like crazy, he's psycho, he's nuts. So he's gonna play that role. So I'm like, well, what is Michael Keaton gonna do? I guess another alternate future that Flash jumps into, and then Michael Keaton's like old Batman or Batman Beyond. Or I don't know. But I think it's dope that they're crossing over like that. I think more movies should do that. Spider-Man movies should do that too. With the previous Spider-Man, Batman is cool that they do that. Just leave Val Kilmer's fat ass and George Clooney's sucky ass Batman out of the whole gamut. Just leave them out. Leave them out of it.
Yeah. The thing I liked about Val Kilmer's Batman I didn't like at all, but with what George Clooney, I think he made a better Bruce Wayne than it's like Michael Keaton was an okay Bruce Wayne, but somehow he was better as Batman, and George Clooney was the opposite. Whereas Batman, he was just silly, but as Bruce Wayne, he was like the smooth, debonair playboy, you know. That's one of the things I must say that Adam West did well at both. You know, for that style of Batman. I know they made it more campy, and I know it was a big deal with the comic. You know, a lot of comic book readers didn't like it, and then that version of Batman started to show up in the comic, and I think eventually it kind of more, you know, people started to like it about the time they were running out of ideas, and the show was going to crap. But you know, when I was watching those as a kid in reruns, when it was a Batgirl episode, man, my eyes were waiting for her to show up. when I saw the opening, I saw that Batgirl motorcycle go by. I'm like, I ain't going outside now. I gotta wait.
Yep.
I gotta say, when she get in those purple pants,
the shiny purple pants. Yes.
Now, have they announced who the villain's going to be in the new Batman?
It's a few villains. What's the name? Is the Penguin? What's his name?
Andy Serkis?
No. Oh my gosh, man! He was the bad guy in the new Harry Potter things. Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's the Penguin. Supposed to be like a few people. The Penguin, the Riddler. A lot of people, no one knows yet who the main villain is yet.
oh, it almost sounds like the Batman movie from '66, where you had
it's going to be so hard to do a Riddler better than Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
Man, he nailed it, man.
That was so perfect.
Yeah, he practiced a lot for that role too. He really spinning that cane and the walk and all that stuff. Yeah,
I heard he destroyed his house with that cane, twirling it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it had real weight. It wasn't just a little prop. It was actually kind of heavy.
I watched Master today too, and I was like, this dude You see the Riddler in his mask. You know, it was yeah. He's amazing.
What I would like to see is a movie where the Joker makes Batman like the Joker. Have you seen that
The
episode?
Batman Labs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to see that as a movie.
yeah, yeah. Because then what do? Like Batman's the baddest dude out there. Like Superman can't beat him. So if Batman legitimately goes crazy, goes bad, what do you do? Who's gonna
Yeah.
stop him?
Yeah.
You know, it's like I hope we get to see a Robin somewhere in the Batman next Batman trilogy, but don't make him like God. I hated Chris O'Donnell's Robin. He was too,
Yeah.
and it was so stupid. Give me a little kid that's just an a-hole, you know, and Batman is like trying to. But it can't be. It's the thing. It's a borderline now because it can't be creepy because you got this man and this kid and he's trying to teach him to fight crime, but he adopted him because his parents died. But why does this guy have such an interest in this little kid? You got to be real careful.
Yo, but nothing's better than Lego Batman.
Yeah.
Now I have two dads. He said, "Ooh, maybe I should go check with the Pops before I leave." And he's like, "I've already checked with Pops, and he said it's cool."
Yeah. That's that. Lego Batman was the best.
I love that movie.
But I was thinking too when you said something about George Clooney was a better Bruce Wayne and Keaton was a better Batman. I don't think anybody's nailed that division right. The perfect Batman and then the perfect Bruce Wayne in the same sense. That's a hard thing to pull off. And I don't think anybody's because Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne was like he was almost lazy. And then when he was training, when he was out there with the League of Shadows, he was an asshole just like he was when he was Batman.
Right.
Worked with Alfred, and Alfred had to teach him how to be a billionaire playboy philanthropist. And then he didn't even pull it off when he was doing it. We had the girls jumping in the water, and I'll just buy this. I'll buy the hotel. It didn't come off as the lighthearted, crazy rich, spoiled brat. But I'm a playboy and I'm real smooth. I can have anybody I want. He didn't pull it off. So I don't think anybody's actually nailed that.
It's kind of more of like an adult Richie Rich.
Yeah. Richie Rich was a dick. That's why his name was Richard.
He said, "Hey, in Lego Batman, they were like, what's the password?" He's like, "Iron Man sucks."
But and then look at Tony. Tony didn't have to. Tony Stark's was Tony Stark's in and out the suit. You know what I'm saying? So he played the same role across the board. Batman has to separate and split that, and that's hard. Now, Seth, you said Brandon Routh was in a crappy Superman movie, but as Superman, he was a great imitation of Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Kinda.
No, dude, watch Reeves Clark Kent. He puts his glass when he's Superman. He stands up straight. He puts his glasses on. Brandon Routh does the exact same thing. The goofy, weird, socially awkward Christopher Reeve, Clark Kent takes his glasses off. He puffs up, and he's Superman. The only other person that's ever done that, aside from Christopher Reeve, was Brandon Routh, and he studied it, and you can see it. He just had the unfortunate mishap of being in a Bryan Singer movie.
Well, I just the part that I didn't like about it was the fact that like he apparently had a kid.
Yeah, that wasn't Brandon's fault.
I know that it was just weird.
It was stupid. Like absolutely benign. Superman is an alien. He's not having children with human women. Can you imagine the conception? She's gonna die.
Hey, do you remember Hancock?
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
remember the trailer scene?
Yeah. Exactly.
It was like Shaboo.
Exactly. There's no way. There's no.
No,
way.
only Wonder Woman can take that.
Exactly. Right. You know.
But
Her
and
insides
he
would be on her outsides.
yeah, and he more or less reprised that role in the crossovers this past season. These past seasons with the
Crisis on
CW
Infinite
shows.
Earth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did y'all
Yeah,
watch that?
I have seen like 3 of them. I haven't seen all of them because they're not on Netflix yet. I've seen them all out of order.
It's hard for me to watch those because it's CW. I was a
Yeah.
diehard fan of Smallville. Every season, I hung with the Flash for about 3 or 4 seasons. But the CW is just too emotional. It's too
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, that now I'm watching, I think I'm going through the Legends episodes now. But I will say, because like one of them's Batwoman, one of them's in Batwoman, I think. I don't think those are out yet. But the Supergirl, that first season was like almost bearable, and then the second season, someone somewhere along the line on one of my videos, or somewhere I made a comment, someone said you got to get through the first 4 episodes of the second season, it gets better, and it did for a while, and then it started to kind of unravel, and then it's just been, it's like I'm watching a Lifetime, it's like it's now on Supergirl Lifetime, Better Wife Syndrome. And it's like, and what really is funny is the woman playing the sister. I didn't realize she was in not another teen movie. She was like the frumpy girl in that.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she's had 3 kids and still looks good. But it was just, and all of a sudden everyone's a lesbian, and it's like they keep tripping over the same things over and over and over again. And when I watched the Crisis on Infinite, because I think it's like the second or third episode of this latest season, that was the best Supergirl episode I think I've ever seen, was her episode of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
And I don't know if they swapped writers, or I don't know if only one because what's interesting is when it's been on the ones I've seen so far, when it's on whatever series, that character is like in it the least. So take of that what you want. I know I said that's the best Supergirl episode. Actually, I think she was in more. Was it the Flash? Or Arrow? One of them she was in more than she was in her episode. But it was like that. I think it's the Flash one. But yeah, Flash is becoming completely unbearable, unwatchable. And Legends keeps, it's like right about the time I give up on it, the next episode's better. They keep skirting with that guardrail and they keep bumping against it, but so far they're not
what
coming back.
season are you at?
Whatever the
Legends?
I don't know, whatever the latest one. In fact, I had to go back and watch some of the old ones because I'm like, who is this person? I don't remember these people coming in. But the first 2 seasons were pretty good, and then once they got rid of Rory, well, the guy who played Rory on Doctor Who. Not their Rory, because they have a guy named Rory. It's been tough for me to watch, although I like Katie Lotz a lot, the Sarah Lance. But it's like, it's
getting harder and harder to keep.
It's getting so woke, and so it's like, look, just cast everyone as female. Just stop pretending. That's the Flash. There's only 2 guys on it, and and it's like Flash was a superhero, and now he's just becoming I don't even know what. He's a has-been in his own show, and the Arrow was headed that way, and they canceled it. I'm like, good, put it out of its misery.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, and now Batwoman with the whole stuff with what's her, Ruby Rose saying I'm done after 1 season because she can't hack it. And now they're going to do somebody completely different. I'm like, look, Batwoman is an invented character. Apparently although there's a Batwoman from years and years ago, it didn't work. And then they resurrected the character. It's almost like Captain Marvel, right? Captain Marvel has been like 6 different things. Yeah. Was a man, was an alien, had powers, didn't have powers, was a black woman, was Miss Marvel again in the 90s, where early 2000s, varying almost wearing a costume. And then we got woke Captain Marvel a few years ago, and that's what they based the movies on, which doesn't sell well. It's been rebooted like 12. I know for a 6-year run that like every 6 months they were rebooting the comic, and I think they finally gave up on that.
Didn't
And
Jeff
it's
say
like-
that his comic sold more?
Yeah.
What was
Oh
that?
yeah. Jeff Hicks.
We have a friend that made his own comic book,
Hmm.
and he outperformed Captain Marvel for that month or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
They
and then
screwed up.
comic books across the board were going down, but they were going, and it's like every time there was a first issue, they'd say, "Oh, it's back," because it would, first
Mhm.
issues sell well even when they're crap because they're first issues.
Yep.
At
And
some point, they
everything-
might be worth something,
Yeah.
and then sales would just tank again, and they would, it's like maybe the stories are horrible, right? People will put up with bad art if the stories are good, but if the stories
Yeah.
are horrible, you can have the best art in the world, and it's not going to do well.
Yep. And they screwed up with Captain Marvel because she was Miss Marvel forever. And then she was a side character. She wasn't a main character. She didn't need to be. Rogue took her powers and she fell back and she became binary. And then she got her Miss Marvel powers back. And then all of a sudden, I started reading comics for like a year. And then all of a sudden, Captain Marvel, I'm like, oh, who is, and it's her. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what happened? And then now she became like a leader of part of the Avengers, and she just got way too big. You have so many other women superheroes that Marvel had that you could have focused on.
I'll be honest. I would rather watch Squirrel Girl. I'm sorry. Like, she has got, I don't know, her acting, everything just ruined that character for me. I never
Yeah.
read her in the comics or nothing, but that movie just ruined it.
Yeah, when she shot the jukebox, she goes, "Bam! What was that? Like, what was that?"
Yeah.
There was no commitment to that move whatsoever. You were not going,
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it would kill. I would absolutely die. I would stand up in the middle of the movie theater and applaud if they introduce Rogue and she pops up and takes that heifer's powers. If she takes her powers and Brie Larson is powerless and she's laying there like just a normal person and they give her the boot and you're out of here, I'd be like the slowest. I'd be like, yeah.
Standing up,
get out.
slow clap. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, that's been speculated because the X-Men are now owned by Disney and they could be pulled in, and it's like, yeah, and they might do that, especially if they want to reboot or something.
I'm scared what they're going to do to Wolverine.
It'll be a woman or it'll be a trans. It'll be a woman
But-
becoming a man or something.
Yeah, well, I will say though, they did do good on Logan, his daughter. See, that was great,
Yeah.
and I would actually like to see another version of her where she's an adult.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that'd be cool because they were talking about that, even using the same little girl, because now she's like, however old, they can do it. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
But like, who's gonna be Wolverine? Man, I don't know. The kid that plays, do you guys watch Stranger Things?
Mhm.
The kid that played Billy, the long-haired kid, Billy, he was the asshole, had the muscle car.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, he kind of looks like Zac Efron.
Montgomery.
Why do you
You-
Baker Montgomery.
Yeah, he was in Power Rangers movie.
Jason.
Jason. He
He's in
did
his car.
a little bit. He could play Wolverine. They him up, but they need
He's super cut.
they need somebody like that. No one, don't give me that's fooling around with what's
Harry Potter.
and Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter could pull it off if they jacked him up. It would have to absolutely, but it can't be somebody so high profile that you're so, because nobody knew who Jackman was. He was a Broadway star. First time I saw him, he was on the cover of Entertainment and he was doing this little dance thing like this. I was like, this guy's Wolverine. Like, no, you're gonna kill my, but he pulled.
What was the dude's name from Kingsman? Tagger
Mhm.
something.
The guy that plays Elton John.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in something, isn't he? Isn't he in some superhero movie or something coming up?
I don't know.
what he was. I thought he was playing some kind of role. Etsy, that's his name in Kingsman.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need somebody, man. Hell, Zac Efron can do that. That dude, he's short, he's jacked, and he's a great actor. He puts himself in his roles. He can do it, but I don't know. They might just have to leave Wolverine alone for a little while.
Yeah.
Focus on somebody else. Somebody, please, I beg you, give me a decent Cyclops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy
Well,
was. I mean, you
James
talk about
Marsden.
put sunglasses on a block of wood. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. He had exactly, no personality, and either, especially what's
His
his
voice was monotone.
Wait a minute. Ah!
yeah,
You didn't like James Marsden?
no, not his Cyclops. No, he was such a weenie. I was so happy when Jean Grey blew him up. It's like, Jean, and just disintegrated him. Like, good, get out of here, you're done.
When?
In the third, the doo-doo one, Last Stand, was that it? No,
I don't think I saw that one. That's why.
X-Men United, the one where Jean went full Phoenix, and
Yeah, Phoenix and
yeah,
That was the second one.
that was the third one.
Oh, what's it?
yeah, and Magneto picked up like the Golden Gate Bridge and
Yeah.
Yeah, she exploded Professor X and Scott. I'm like, yes, he was a weenie in freaking Superman Returns. Yeah, weenie. You didn't know.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah, like he reprised himself. He did better when he did Sonic, but damn, man.
Yeah, he did do it. He was so funny in Sonic.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw Birds of Prey this week too, by the way. I got to see
What do you
it
think
for
about
free. Huh?
Think about that.
It was so like hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it was. I like the way it was written. It was kind of like all over the place, and then kind of like, boop, and then tied in there. But I liked it. I thought it was.
I didn't like the fact that it was like, let me tell you this story. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you this story. Oh wait,
yeah.
I forgot to tell you this story. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're back to that story. And that was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think they just need to stop playing. Stick with the comics. You have 40, 50. Batman has 80 years of source material. The best villains of anybody. The only person that has villains as good as Batman is Spider-Man. And I think DC messes up, and if Marvel does it, Marvel's going to screw up everything. Is when they move away from the source material. You have all these comics. Just tell you have a screenplay. You have a script right there. You have the storyboard right there. Just follow the comic books.
I mean, that's the thing. It feels like the people that are creating the stuff now have no idea what was actually in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, okay, this part right here is popular, so we're going to make them do this in there.
Yep. And then they go back and they read. Okay, so you're going to read anywhere from 15 to 50 years worth of comic books in a 3-month span. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to lose attention after the first couple of weeks. You weren't a fan to begin with, so you don't have the passion. That's why, like Michael Bay with Transformers, Michael Bay with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he was going to make them aliens. You're not a fan, so you don't have the passion, and you don't have the know it.
Oh, yeah.
To make these movies what they need to be, because you're just trying to make money. You're just using, let me just read this comic and just say, okay, this is what I'm going to change this because this doesn't really matter. How are you going to say that it doesn't matter to change them from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to just Teenage Ninja Turtles? No, they're
Yeah.
The ooze is the most important part, and I think a lot of these directors are not fans. They're just not fans. They just want to make money.
Oh, yeah. I
And
mean, it's the
they're
same
not
thing they do
making-
with Star Wars.
But they're not making any money.
Because they're
making money.
thinking that the culture's dying now. They're thinking that
Mhm.
culture's dying in the comic books, but it's just because it's not going with the flow. Fans
Yep.
are getting fed up.
Yep. Like, look at Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's a nerd. He's a nerd. He loves Marvel. Look at John Favreau, who did The Mandalorian, and he's a nerd. He did Iron Man. He's a nerd. He loves this stuff. And those movies, those series are the most successful because you have these people who grew up with these characters making these movies. You know,
Well, look at Spawn. Spawn was never sold out, and it to me is one of my favorite movies.
mm-hmm. Yep, because it was true to the source material. Because Todd McFarlane was like, "This is how it's going to be made. This is the story, and you need to stick with it." They just didn't have the budget. Like, man, John Leguizamo as the Violator, as the clown. Oh my god,
Yeah.
he killed it.
You like the Spawn, Seth?
I need to see it again. I saw it a long time ago, and I don't know if I could keep up with it at the time. I do want to go back and watch it.
I just wish they would have gone more in depth of what kind of person he was before it came Spawn.
Yeah,
Because it was just like a glimpse, and then he spawned. But other than that, it was a great movie.
Supposedly they're supposed to be coming out with some Spawn Spider-Man crossover comic.
Huh.
That'd be cool.
Todd McFarlane is doing it to kind of help boost sales at comic book shops. So like he's not charging anything to get it. Like it's just so that the comic book shops can make pure profit.
That's dope.
Yeah. That's just like the on Wednesday Negan Lives comes out from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And that's how that's set up. Robert Kirkman isn't really getting anything off of that. It's all to go to the comic book shops.
Now, I have a theory, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But if they made it,
You're
they
wrong.
really want to save the comic book thing. There's all video games about superheroes now. All of them almost. When you get a comic book of, let's say, the Hulk or Spider-Man or something, you get a cheat code at the end of the book. But you have to rip the plastic to see it or something. Kids nowadays that are they're trying to get into comic books, give them a cheat code for their game. So they'll have that book, they'll read that book, and they'll get back into it.
Yep. And like the mobile app games. God, everybody has a mobile app game. You know, exclusive characters or skins or something like that, or a weapon. If you get this comic, it probably would work. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Are you going to play the PlayStation 4 Avengers game?
I'm about to hit up some of these videos on it to see some of the gameplay. I don't know. I mean, they've got to show me something.
I've heard there's a lot of like you don't get to play as like the people you think you're going to be able to play as.
So is it like DC Universe?
I don't know how that is, but they're saying a lot of the gameplay is through Kamala Khan.
That DC Universe game got me. I was like, oh yay! And you get to make a character. You don't get to use all those characters. Like,
And you have to pay money per item you get.
Yep. Yeah. That was.
But I will say Warzone that Seth needs to download.
Man, I got a
I
crappy
actually
phone,
enjoyed it.
man.
No, you play it on your PlayStation.
Oh, all right.
It's free,
Yeah, I
right?
see that.
Warzone
Yeah,
part
it's
is free.
Yeah, and you can play between Xbox and PlayStation. It don't matter, or PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cross brand, cross platform.
And also, are you going to play The Last of Us Part 2?
I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on like I bought a whole bunch of games because PlayStation had their PlayStation Now sale. So I got a bunch of older stuff. Like I got the Mortal Kombat, but like all them on it. I've been playing that. Believe it or not, I've been playing Fortnite just because it's fun to do stupid stuff. Aquaman is in the new version right now.
So is Deadpool.
Deadpool. I have them now. I'm actually looking at them right now. They
For real?
Deadpool, yeah. They did a movie night tonight on Fortnite. They played Inception. You could go to the little party area and we're sitting there with all these other people. And they have a big giant movie screen and they had Inception going. But now you have to unlock Aquaman because all the board is underwater or something. So you get to unlock Aquaman with the different challenges. But then I went and downloaded Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, and all the DLCs because it was like $10. So I was like, so I'm like playing those older games, and like the newer ones, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm just waiting for the PS5 to come out and give me something different.
But what do you think about all the Last of Us 2 stuff that's come out?
It looks cool. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Were you a fan of the first one?
Huh?
Did you play the first one?
Yeah, I played the first one. I didn't beat it. I played it. I liked it a lot. But it's so hard for them to come up with a sequel to something like that and then not suck.
Yeah, well, the new one sucks.
It does.
Did you play it, Seth?
No, I've heard I refused to buy it once I figured out the crux of why what happens. It's just stupid, and I'm not dealing with it.
So you can act like it didn't exist.
I'm gonna pretend that it didn't exist and that character's still alive.
That's what I did with Star Wars.
But I did listen to the plot breakdown of it and the way that they described everything that's going on. I mean, without the intricacies of like what the levels and stuff, but like the cutscenes and the story progression, you know, I found out why she did that. Do you have any interest in playing it, Wayne? Because like I really don't want to dive into stuff.
Not really.
All right. Well, this new character, Abby, kills Joel within the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's 2 hours in and she kills Joel.
Yeah.
The game is 20 hours long.
That's it?
Yeah, 22 or 24 hours long. And they killed Joel 2 hours into it.
Wow.
So, but they say that they killed him because he killed her dad. At the end of the first Last of Us, they're in a hospital where Joel is turning Ellie. You made the journey, and Joel is turning Ellie over. Well, Ellie, they're like, all right, you know, we're here, you know, you can get what you need to get. They're like, well, you don't understand. Like the cure that we're looking for, we have to take out a section of her brain, which means they got to kill her. And so you essentially freak out and go on a killing spree and get Ellie back and then take off. Well, one of the doctors was this new character's father, Abby. And Abby starts training and crossfitting and doing all kinds of stuff and becomes this huge like beast of a woman. And she tracks down Joel and him and kills him.
That's whack.
Yeah. And then the worst part about it, where people are really getting mad about this game, is that right after you kill Joel, you become Abby. And she has a 10-hour story arc inside the game. So it's like you kill off a good character, then you go, which I'm not opposed to killing off the mentor character. Like I get that's part of a good story progression, but you don't do it 5 minutes in.
And then force you to the person that murdered him.
Right.
Like Red Dead Redemption, he dies at the end in one of the storylines, but it's at the very end.
Well, it's like it's usually a third act kind of deal. Like your mentor stuff dies in like the third act of all the movies because that's at your low point, ready for the big comeuppance. But in this game, dude, it's like, and there's no resolution to it. They get to a point where Ellie confronts her at the end of the game, the boss battle, and they both just kind of go their separate ways.
Yeah, screw that. No thanks. I think everything that's going to come out right now for the PS4 is just worthless because they're focused on the PS5. So That's why I'm like, I still have to beat the first part of Final Fantasy remake. So I'm just like, I'll just deal with this until the PS5 comes out and I get some new stuff.
Yeah, I don't plan on buying any other new games.
Yeah, no.
If they ever do Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe I'll do that.
That's gonna come out for PS5.
Yeah, they've already
Yeah.
heard some stuff about that.
Just PS5, or will they?
No,
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm talking like. Do you think they'll do another copy for PS4?
No, it's they said this all the stuff they have to throw in it, everything they're putting into it, the PS4 can't handle it.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, they tried that with Xbox with Black Ops 3, and they took everything away except multiplayer and zombies. And the whole time I played it, it lagged. Like, no matter what it was, I would lag. And it's because the Xbox 360 couldn't handle the graphics like the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Everything's focused on the new stuff now. You know, that big towering PlayStation 5. That thing is huge.
Yep.
It's huge.
Well,
Sometime I was. Shoot.
what?
All right. Sorry. Pulled my headphones out.
Nice.
You guys done?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. The dogs. Attention. They're now all at my feet.
All
right.
Yeah. I think
Well,
my family's upstairs waiting on me. I don't hear them right now. So
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yep.
They're up to something.
My children are older, but we have 3 dogs, and yeah, it's like when they're running around, that can be bad. But when it's suddenly quiet, if they're not around you where you can see them, then they're probably chewing something.
Yep. Or something's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wayne, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have anything you need to plug? Channel?
No, nothing right now. I'm working on some new art. We got the Comic Con. They rescheduled it because of COVID, so it's not going to be August on my birthday weekend again this year. It's going to be October 31st. So I'm pretty sure I'll be on here with you guys again once I get some new art coming up. So I'll plug my website on there that time.
Halloween.
Me and Tommy will be there
Nice.
at Comic Con. So
All right.
Nice.
And where can we find you and Tommy as well?
we are on the men's room. Usually Tuesdays we record and have a video out and edited by Friday, but we've had some issues. So
All right.
yeah.
So, and I have
Consistency.
been channeled at Brian Lape. Yeah, my channel's growing. I got a few more subs this week. I'm closing in on 1,620. I'm one shy. But I'm starting to do a little more SEO even in the links now. I actually made my own link redirector, if you would, so I can put even more my name as well as other keywords in the link itself. So we'll see how that goes. So yes, my 3 testosterone booster videos are now in my top 10 every week. So, I'm getting to think that most of my audience is over 40. So, well, thank you all, everyone, for whether you're watching this live. I guess there's no one watching at the moment, but or in watching it on replay and all this other stuff. And I don't know if we're going to keep it on. I don't know if we're going to still rotate it or what we're going to do. Who knows? So that's part of the fun, is trying to find us. So thanks, everybody. Everybody, anything else you want to say before we say goodnight?
Nah.
Who wants to take us out? Anyone?
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you, everybody. Good night, and stay safe out there, and see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.